education, right? So how many heard about GSP? You can use Zoom reactions or you can write yes or no in the chat box. Have you heard of GSP before? Have you done the audit before? Yes or no? Yes. Okay.
Yes, madam.
Okay. So many of you, almost all of you, have heard of GSP. Great. So I am from that team, and we run this audit for schools, and then we rate them as green, orange, yellow, red, and then we organize this award ceremony to felicitate green schools. So I will now share my screen and start with the presentation. So what we're going to do today is we will learn the process of auditing. Now, as you all know, we have been trying to come back to normal. The last audit was in 2019. Then pandemic hit us. In 2020, there was no audit because the schools were closed, and audit requires students to be in the school, right? So in 2020, there was no audit. And in 2019 audit, do you know which was the best state in GSP audit? The award for best state went to Andhra Pradesh, and the
Andhra
award
Pradesh.
for and the award for best district went to Chittoor, which Neelkant sir was handling at that time. We got highest registrations from Andhra Pradesh and Chittoor in 2019. Then in 2020 there was no audit. In 2021 we did one audit, and in that Andhra Pradesh schools participated, but the number was low. Now this is GSP audit 2022, which is now live. The last date to submit this audit is January 14. Because you're just starting, we can give you 5-6 more days in January. Now let's see how you have to do this audit and how you have to submit it. If you have any question, please put it in the chat box. I will take it from there. Now let me present my screen. So here is the presentation. I hope you all can see it. Yeah, can you all see it?
Yes, madam.
Okay, perfect. So let's get started with this. I am from the environment education team at CSE. CSE is Center for Science and Environment. It is the organization that I work for. So I am from the environment education unit of it. We have 3 different programs under it, and one of the programs is Green Schools program. We will talk about this program today. The rest is Young Environmentalist, which is also a website where you get free environmental news, games, activities. And university program is something where we work with colleges. So today we are going to talk about Green Schools program and what we do under it. So we are an environmental education program. We work with schools, we work with teachers, and we work with students. The goal is to sensitize students and also teachers, the entire school community, towards environmental issues and how we can combat those issues, how we can resolve those issues. For example, waste management, the way we use energy, water conservation, eating good food, maintaining biodiversity in the school. So we take care of all of this, and this is what GSP audit is also about. The best school with the best sustainable practices is rated green in the audit. If your practices need a little bit improvement, you are yellow. Below yellow, we have orange, and the least sustainable rating is red. So now the goal is to become green. So how do we do that? Let us learn. So this is the GSP audit. There are 6 sections in the audit. The first section is air. The second, where we talk about air pollution and how the air quality is around the school. Then there's water, food, waste, energy, and land. So we will ask you questions based on these 6 topics. You will have your students collect the data and put it in the portal. We will analyze the data and we will give your school a rating, which could be green, yellow, orange, or red based on your data. There are some very important points of GSP audit. It's completely online. You do not have to courier us any report. You don't have to write anything. Everything is online. It's all free. If I think most of you are registered already. If you're not, you need to first register and then participate. It's all free. We rate the schools and we provide you with reports after that. There are 6 focus areas, as I said: air, energy, food, land, water, and waste. If you are a primary school, is there any primary school here in the audience? Any
No,
primary
no, no.
school?
High school. Only high schools.
Only
Only
high school.
secondary.
Okay, so we have a separate audit for primary school also, but you will do the high school audit, the secondary school audit.
Register.
After GSP audit, we
Register
provide
for
digital
them, register.
certificate to all the participants. That includes the principal, teachers, GSP coordinator, students, right? And if you are a very good school and if we are considering you for an award, we also visit your school to validate the data, to confirm the data that you have provided. Okay. So this is what happened in the previous audits. You can see here, we started with online audit in 2015. So in 2015, we had 526 schools submit the audit. Then in 2016, the number increased to 700. In 2017, the number increased further. In 2019, we reached 1700 schools. But then suddenly in 2021, which was the last audit, the number dropped because of obvious reasons. There was pandemic. The school closed again when we launched the audit, so the number went down. Now let us look at the status of Andhra Pradesh, how Andhra Pradesh schools have done in the audit. So this will help you understand the trend and how your schools have been performing and how we can increase the performance. So you can see in 2016, Andhra Pradesh just started. There were 21 schools that were registered with us. Out of those, 15 submitted the audit. In 2017, registrations went high, submissions also went high. In 2019, this is the audit where Andhra Pradesh and Chittoor were awarded. So the then director of APNGC, Mr. Ramesh Suman, and Neelkant sir came to Delhi. They were invited to Delhi and they collected the award. It's on our website also, the pictures. So you can see in 2019, there were 2,100 schools in Andhra Pradesh that were registered with us. And only from AP, we got 353 submissions, which was the highest. In 2021, registrations increased. So now we have 2,137 schools, but only 32 submissions came last time in the last audit. So now we have to increase this number of submissions, and this time I hope AP, wins back the award of state with highest registrations. So that is the goal. You can also see that Andhra Pradesh has won a number of awards in GSP audit because of schools like you that are so active. So in 2018 audit, Andhra Pradesh and Chittoor were state and districts with highest registrations and submissions. So the registration was also highest, submission was also highest. Now in 2019 audit, Andhra Pradesh won 3 awards, which is not a small deal at all. It's a great honor. In 2019, ZPHS Gopalkrishnapuram was awarded the best school in air section, and Andhra Pradesh won the award for the state with highest registrations and submissions, and Chittoor won the award for district with highest registration and submission. All of this in one audit. If we have already looked at this data, but in 2019 audit, if you see, Andhra Pradesh had 22 green schools, which is a great number. In the last audit, there were only 3 green schools, and these green schools were ZPHS Gopalkrishnapuram, KGBV KVB Puram, ZPHS Patikonda. If any of these schools are here in the meeting, congratulations to you. You were green in the last audit. Now let's move to the next slide. Now talking about audit 2022. We are meeting because very few schools have started the audit as of now. You can see only 6 schools from Andhra Pradesh have started the audit, but there are 2,100 schools registered. So if you have not started the audit, please get started after this workshop immediately from tomorrow, because you will need to collect the data first and then fill it in the portal. It takes a little bit of time. So now we are going to discuss the audit process. How are you supposed to get started? Before that, Uh, how many of you, and I want you to use Zoom reaction of thumbs up. How many of you are registered with Green Schools program? You have to give me a thumbs up if your school is registered with the Green Schools program. It's okay if you have not done the audit this time, if you have not started, but you have to tell me if your school is registered. Okay, Ravindra Reddy sir says yes. Okay, another yes. You can also put it in the chat box to say yes. If your school is registered, you can type yes in the chat box. I need to know how many of you are registered with us. Okay. Okay, so there is one school that is not registered. Okay. Rest are. Okay. Yes. Yes. What about the rest of the participants?
Just we are initiating this program because we
Hmm.
are DCs, district coordinates are newly appointed and
Right.
reorganized also because districts are reorganized no, from 13 to
Right.
26
Right.
districts. This is
Yes.
the initial
So,
meeting. Again, we
yeah.
go for schools or districts, they will conduct the meetings also, either Zoom or
Right.
in person.
Yeah, even if you're not registered, it's not a problem because I will tell you how you can register if you're not registered. I just need to know how many of you are registered. Okay, so some are mostly most schools are registered, some are not. Now let's see how we can start the process. If you're registered or not registered, we'll discuss that. So these are the steps of audit submission. The first step is GSP registration. If your school is registered with us, you do not have to do it again. For GSP audit, you only have to register once for all the years. You do not have to repeat it every year. Now, let's say you registered this year, you did the audit, but then the GSP coordinator got transferred to another school. So, what can you do? You can write to us. I will give you my email ID. You can write to us, tell us that this is our school, the GSP coordinator has changed. We update the new details from our end. So you don't have to register again. Okay. If you're not registered, then only you have to register once and then forget about it. Now, once you register, we give you a username and password. Very important details. If you have submitted the audit before, if, for example, this is audit 2022, if you have submitted audit 2019, you can also access your reports from that audit and see what kind of data you provided. How to log in and get that data, we'll also come to that. Once you have seen your previous data, only if you have submitted it before, you have to log into this year's audit. Then you have to do all the activities and finally fill the data in the portal and submit. Now, all of these activities are actually questions that students are supposed to get answers to. So, as a GSP coordinator, the teacher does not have to do the groundwork. Students will do the groundwork because this is how it's hands on. If you're asking about window to floor ratio, so they have to measure the area of the room and the area of the openable windows. This is how we measure window floor ratio. So, students are supposed to take the lead. Then I will now come to each step and tell you how to do it. GSP registration. For those whose school is not registered with us, you can go to our website. There you can register, you can log in, you can download reports. Everything is done in on our website. I am typing the address of our website in the chat box. I will also send it in an email to you. So this is our website. If you click on this website, you will see a button called GSP audit registration. As you can see here, it's highlighted in blue. So you can go to this button and click on it. A very small form will open in which we will ask for your school's details, GSP coordinator, who is one school teacher that we get in touch with, who is in charge of the whole activity, and the principal details. You submit the form. If it says successful, then you are registered. Okay, it's as simple as that. You only have to register once, and that's it. If your school is already registered, please don't repeat the process. Now let's move to the next step. If you have done the audit before and you want to check your reports from that audit, you can then again go to GSP website. and click on download reports and certificates this time. So here you log in using your audit details, your audit username, your audit password, and there all your reports are saved if you have submitted the audit in the previous years. Once you have done that, the next step is, and for new schools, it's not valid. So now we come to the audit login. You can see on the website there is one button for GSP audit login also. So all the buttons are there. You first have to register, then you have to log in. When you click on GSP audit login, a screen like this will open up. In the first box, you have to enter your username, which is the GSP coordinator email ID. In the second box, you have to enter your password. Now, this is very important because if your password has small letters and if you enter capital letters here, it will not open. So you have, if your password has small letters, you have to enter small letters here. There should be no extra spaces and you have to enter the details carefully to log in. Now there must be schools who are registered, but they have forgotten their password. That also happens. You forget your password. If that happens, do you see this tiny forgot password button here? I am circling it. If you have forgotten your password, you can click on this button and a new password will come to your Gmail or your email, whichever ID you have provided. We will send a new password within 10 minutes to your email address. Now, don't forget to check the spam box because at times the mail lands in the spam box also. So check both inbox and spam box and you will receive a new password which you can enter and then log in. Then once you log in, all the 6 sections will open up, right? Now, I think all of you have the green book, which is How Green is Your School, the GSP manual. That manual has all the questions of the audit. So what you can do is you can share it with schools and give them a list of questions beforehand so that they can get started with the process of data collection, because this is the only time consuming step, collecting the data. So you need to get started right away. For each section, you can make a team of 10 students, maximum 10. Minimum can be 4 or 5, but maximum 10. So let's say for air, you will make a team of 10 students. For energy, you will make a team of 10 students, and same for the rest of the sections. Now you give these questions to these students, explain to them, and they will roam around and get the data for you. You can also have one teacher, if you have teacher, that many teachers in the school, you can also have one more teacher for each section who will facilitate the process. So now students are collecting the data for you. In our audit, we ask for monthly averages. Now, what does that mean? So let's say in the energy section, we will ask you what is your electricity bill for 1 month. In the waste section, we will ask you how much wet waste you generate in 1 month, how much dry waste you generate in 1 month. In the water section, we will ask you how much water you use in 1 month. So for everything, we are going to ask you for monthly averages. Now, how can you do that? There are 2 ways to do it. Either you can use your data from any of the previous months. For example, November. Schools were open throughout November. If you have this data, I'm sure you would have your electricity bill, you would have your water bill, so you would know how much you have consumed. If you have your data from November or October, you can use that data. If not, what you can do is in the month of January, you can have students collect the data for 15 days and then you can double it to form a monthly average. For example, if my school generates 10 kg of wet waste in 15 days, it will generate 20 kg in 30 days. So I enter 20 kg in the portal. This is what you can do. You can take 15-day data and double it to make monthly average. So these are 2 ways to do it. Either you can use data from previous month or you can observe it for 15 days and then double it to form monthly average. Now I'm going to briefly discuss each section. Then we will go to our website and see all these buttons that I talked about, right? Before I move to these sections, do you have any questions? We will also take questions in the end, but if you have any question right now, you can unmute and tell me. Any doubt? Anything you did not understand? No? No questions? Okay. Um, all right. So I am assuming that everything is clear, which is great because you guys are brilliant teachers. So, okay, very clear. Thank you for that comment, sir. Now we will move ahead. The first section is air. What kind of questions do we ask under this section? So, first of all, we ask you about your vehicles, whether or not there are any vehicles in the school. It could be your own vehicle, school vehicle, or no vehicle at all. That's also perfect because government schools in Andhra Pradesh, most of them have non-polluting modes we have seen. So in 2019, ZPHS Gopalakrishnapuram got an award because 90% of their population was using bicycles, which is a great green practice. So they got an award. So it's okay if you don't have vehicles, you can tell that to us. So we ask about vehicles, what fuel they use, how old are the vehicles, whether or not you have all the certificates. For example, pollution under control certificate, parking, and vehicle fitness certificate. Then we ask for window to floor ratio, which I just explained. Window to floor ratio tells us how ventilated and how well lit your classrooms are. How is the lighting in the class and how is the ventilation in the class? That we calculate through window to floor ratio. To become a green school, you need minimum 5% window to floor ratio, and the more, the better. Then we ask how the population of the school comes to school. How do they commute? How do teachers commute? How do students commute? And how does the admin staff commute? And there are a lot of options in there: bicycle, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, school bus, private bus, public bus. All the options are there. You have to select what is valid for your school, right? So this is about air section. I'm telling you very briefly what the questions are. Then the next section is energy. In this, we ask about energy consumption, of course. So we will ask you how many units you consumed in 1 month, and how many appliances you have, whether you have a microwave, whether you have a fridge, what is the BEE star rating of that appliance. Does anyone know what BEE star rating is? We often say, oh, this is a 5-star product, this is a 3-star product. So what is that star rating? What is BEE star rating? Yes, I can provide this PPT, sir. We're talking about BEE. Does anyone know what BEE star rating is? No, you can take a wild guess. You can give wrong answer also. It's okay.
Bureau of Energy Efficiency.
That's perfect, sir. BEE is Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which rates appliances based on how energy efficient they are. So if it's a 5-star rated product, means it uses very less electricity, very less power. So 5-star products are the best. So we ask for star rating of the appliances that you have in the school. Then we ask you where your energy comes from, whether you use it from DISCOM, which is the power plant, whether you have renewable sources of energy in the school or not. So under renewable, we ask about solar, biogas, wind, and any other source that you might be using. It's not important to have solar panels to become a green school. Although solar panels are a great practice that we give points to, but there are many green schools that do not have solar panels, but they're using their electricity efficiently. So that's also fine in the energy section. What we do is, with this data, we calculate the per capita energy of the school. For example, how much electricity does one person use in one day? That is something we calculate, and based on that, the scores are given. Now coming to the next section, which is food. Very important section, but very small section. So energy section is still big because it has elements of renewable energy. Food and land are very small sections. So in the food section, we ask whether you have a canteen or you have midday meal in the school. So if you're selling packaged food items in your canteen, you lose points because it's a bad habit. It's bad for health, packaged food items, and also it generates a lot of plastic waste. So canteen, if you have a canteen and if you're selling packaged food items, you lose some points. If you're selling traditional food items, freshly made items, and if you have midday meal, you get points for that because these are good practices when it comes to food. Then we ask you what you distribute in your school events. For example, you're doing Republic Day celebration, Independence Day celebration, Annual Day. So, what do you give to students? If you have any competitions, what do you give to students? Then we ask about monitoring growth, which means whether or not you are measuring the height and weight of your students. So you're tracking development, and if there's any issue in the growth, you're reporting it to parents. So that is also one aspect of food because here we're talking about good health, and that is what the food section is about. Now let's move to land, which is section 4. Any idea what we will talk about in land? Any wild guess? You can give any word, any answer in the chat box. What will land have? The section land. Green cover and biodiversity. You're absolutely right, sir. Yes, so it is about biodiversity. The name is land, but it can very well be called biodiversity. Let's see how. So, one crucial aspect is how you're using the total area of the school. We will ask you what is the total area of the school and how much is your green cover. So, green cover is something where there are no buildings, no concrete floor, and it's used for some plants or biodiversity of any kind. So to be a green school, you need at least 35% of your total area as green cover. So whatever your school's total area is, 35% of it should be green cover. This you will enter in the portal in square meters. We will ask for just the numbers and we will do all the calculation. You don't have to calculate anything. You just have to provide us data. So first of all, we ask you how many buildings and how much green cover you have, how much concrete floor you have. Another thing, very important thing that we ask is biodiversity. So we ask you to count the species of plants and animals in the school. Now remember, teachers don't have to do it. Students have to go around and do this activity. This is how they are going to learn about it. So if a student goes around and sees what kind of trees we have, they are going to learn new things about the local biodiversity around the school, right? So in this, students have to go around and count the number of plants and animal species in and around the school. So for example, if in the school there are 5 banyan trees, 2 mango trees and 3 guava trees. So how many species of plants are there? 5 banyan, 2 mango and 3 guava trees. So how many species of trees are there in the school? 3, right? Okay, we only have one response, but you're absolutely right, sir. That would be 3 species. So you don't have to count the number of trees. That's not what we want. We want the number of species. Yes, 3. So this is how you have to count the species. And when it comes to animals, you can count anything from a bird to a reptile, right? Even lizard, rats, these are also species. Dogs, if you have dogs in and around the school. So count all of that and provide the number of species here. This was about land section, again, tiny section. Then the second last section is water. Under water, we ask about water conservation, water use patterns, sanitation, and rainwater harvesting. So water consumption, how much water is consumed in a day? How many taps do you have? How many washrooms do you have? Do you have separate toilets for girls and boys? How many, if you have a hand pump, where does your water come from? Yeah, this is about water consumption and sanitation. Then we ask about water conservation. So whether or not you have rainwater harvesting in school, very important. You cannot become a green school if you're not harvesting rainwater. You must start this practice in the school and try to catch as much rainwater as possible. Now it could be of any type. You could either store the rainwater, which is some schools do. What they do is they store the rainwater in a big tank, and other schools send it underground. So they have filters through which the rainwater goes underground to the water table. So both the ways are fine depending on the need of the school. But rainwater harvesting is a must. Then another aspect is reuse of water. If you have RO, what do you do with the wastewater? What do you do with the water that comes from wash basins? Do you treat that water and reuse it? So that's another aspect of the water section. Coming to the last section, which is waste. Now, waste is also a big section because we want you to track all kinds of waste in the school. Yes, we're not just talking about general waste, we are talking about 7 different streams. So, wet and dry waste are pretty common. We are all familiar with it. Wet waste is generally food waste and garden waste. Dry waste is plastic, paper, glass, thermocol, and all of that. Now there are more streams that you are supposed to segregate waste into. There is a law, solid waste management rules. It's a legal document, it's a legal act. It says that schools are categorized as bulk generators, and a bulk generator must segregate waste in these 7 categories. So it's mandated by law also that a school must segregate waste in these categories. One is wet, next is dry, then there's domestic hazardous waste, there is electronic waste like your appliances, computers, and everything. There's sanitary waste, which could be pads, tampons. Then there's biomedical waste, which is mostly related to medical usage, syringe, band-aid, etc. And the last is construction and demolition waste. If you've had any kind of construction in the school, and if there's construction waste lying around, then you have to provide that data also. Now, I know you may not be segregating it into so many categories, but it's important that you start at least measuring how much you're generating in each category and how you're recycling it. So in the waste section, we ask about that. And remember, you have to provide data for 1 month, right? So how much electronic waste is generated in 1 month? How much
Yeah, take it.
biomedical waste? Yeah. Is there a question, sir? Babu Rao, sir? No, I think.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, where was I? Yes, and if you don't understand what falls into which category, all the answers are there on the audit portal. So if you open the audit portal, you will be able to see what kind of waste comprises what. So what comes under domestic hazardous, what comes under C&D, everything is provided there. What do you do with wet waste? Now we ask, how do you recycle these things? So if you're throwing wet waste in a landfill, you cannot become a green school. You must treat wet waste. You either should send it to a community compost pit or you should compost it in your own school, which is very easy. You dig a hole in the ground and you put the waste in there with a little bit of water. After some time, you have to turn it and then it forms into compost. Then what kind of school initiatives that you have around waste management? Do you have a waste management policy, something that guides students what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to throw their food waste, where they're supposed to throw the paper waste, any awareness drives that you do? These pictures are from a school actually, which this is a KV, I think, in AP only, which is segregating waste into categories. So this is about waste section. Now I will take you to the website and show you all the links that I talked about, and I think that will make the things clearer. So now, if you have to access all of these links, I know there are a number of steps and this may be a bit too much of information, but just be with me, see all the links, and then if you have any confusion, you can call us or email us, either is fine. So now I'm going to the GSP website, which is greenschoolsprogram.org. This is what our website looks like. Here, as I said, all the buttons are here on the top right corner, right? So if I am a new school, I am not registered, I will first go to GSP audit registration. Such a form will open up. You can see there are very few questions. We ask for UDICE code. If you don't know the UDICE code of your school, you can enter 00 in here and move. Then name of your school, address, state, district, phone number, principal's details, and GSP coordinator's details. Then you solve this mathematical sum and you submit it. Once you do this and you receive a message that you have successfully registered, a mail will come to your inbox with your username and password. Now, when you have your username and password, you can go to GSP audit login, right? And provide your details there, log in and get started. Now, if you are in old school, which means you have done the audit before, and before starting this year's audit, you want to see your previous reports, right? For that, you can go to download reports and certificates. Now, I am going to use a school from Andhra Pradesh only, ZPHS Gopalakrishnapuram, and show you how it looks. So, if you're doing audit every year, I want to show you how your portal looks. Remember, this is not the audit login portal. This is the account to check previous reports. So see, this is the account of ZPHS Gopalakrishnapuram. You can see they have done the audit every year. For the last 4 years, they have been doing audit every year. Perfect school. And the last 3 times they were rated green, which is the best category. They also won an award in 2019. Here, if you go to downloads, you will see that everything is here from the last audit. So response report is there from the last audit. I am clicking on it and it has, it's a PDF which opens. Yes. So this is their school's report. They did the audit last time and all their answers are here. So they can actually go through this data before starting this year's audit. Right. So now coming back to our website. Now I have registered. I have checked my previous reports. Now I will log in and get started with the audit. So now then I click on GSP audit login. I am entering a demo ID which I made for myself to show you how the audit looks. You enter your username and password. This will open up. Now this is our audit. This is where you have to provide the data. Everything is there. All the explanations are there. And do you see this question mark? This is called a tooltip. It's there to help you. For example, enter GSP coordinator's name. There's a tooltip here. This is an explanation of the question, which means you have to provide the name of the teacher who is responsible for GSP audit. So wherever you see tooltips, they are there to help you. How do you select the category of your school? How do you know if you're a day scholar? What does it mean to be a residential school? Here you can find all the explanation. You just have to put your cursor on it. Select if you're a residential school and you don't have any shifts, you have to select not applicable. So this is how it goes. The first two sections, school profile and general questions, are about the basic information of the school. So what is the name? What is the address? Telephone number? How many shifts you have? What is the highest grade? If you go to general questions, we will ask for your population, which board you follow. I'm sure you all follow State Board of Education, so you have to select that. Then what is the total population? Students, teachers, non-teaching staff, everybody. Now this is very important because we calculate per capita based on this population. We from our end calculate how much waste one person is generating in your school, how much energy and water one person is using in school, and all of that we do with this population. Now once you do all the two sections, this will hardly take 10 minutes. We now come to the main sections. So this is the first section, which is air. Once you make the team, you have to enter the details here. Teachers, GSP coordinator and more teachers if they're there. Any admin staff member if you have, and then students, the name and grades of students. You have to fill this and then provide data for all these questions. These are all the questions that students will find answers to. For example, how eco-friendly are the vehicles? So here you have to tell whether or not you're using vehicles. So if you're not using vehicles, most government schools don't have vehicles, you can say school does not use or own vehicles. Okay. And whichever option is convenient for you, you can do that. Once you put in all the answers, there's a upload files button here, which means that you have to upload some important documents. So we have asked for pollution under control certificate. We have asked for some bills. All of that you have to upload here. But there's one very important thing, which is that the file of one size should not be more than 100 KB. So please ensure all the students are extremely tech savvy these days. So have them check that the documents they have for you should be 100 KB or less. Okay. Then if you leave any question blank here, you will not be able to move to the next section. So you have to complete all the answers, then only you will go to the next section. Like that, you have to complete all the sections, and in the end, there is feedback where we ask you some questions about audit. We take your feedback, and then you hit submit. For example, you see this when you reach the last section, you will see the submit button. So this is food, very small section. This is land. Again, few questions. See, this is how we ask for your school area. Ground cover, green landscape, and the tooltips are there to help you. If you don't understand anything, just go to the tooltip. This is water. This one is a bit longer than the others. Waste is also longer because we ask for all types of waste. And then when you reach the last section, which is feedback, you answer these questions and you hit submit audit. Very important. You hit submit audit, it comes to us and your activity is done from your side. Now, what happens after you submit the audit? Let's go to that. This we have already discussed that yes, you don't have to leave any boxes blank when you're doing the audit. If you do leave something blank, it will be highlighted with a red outline. So you will not be able to move to the next section and you have to go up and see which question you have missed. Read tooltips, try to understand. If you don't understand anything, feel free to call us or email us. Upload some documents, not more than 5. And the size of each document should be less than 100 KB. What happens after you submit the audit? So your task is done. Once you submit the audit, it comes to us, then we start our work. So for every school, each school that registers with us, we give you 3 things after audit submission. One is response report, which has all the answers of your GSP audit. So if you forget what you provided in waste section, there's a record of it. Then there's performance report. This is a personalized feedback report that we generate for your school. So for example, if you're not managing your waste properly, we will provide you feedback on that. If you're a yellow school, we will tell you which areas you're lacking in and how you can improve to become a green school. So this is your feedback report. Then we give certificate, digital certificate of participation to all the participants. The principal and teachers get certificate of leadership and students get certificate of participation. Everybody gets a certificate. So these are the 3 things that you get after audit submission. Now there's something even more exciting that you get if you are a green or yellow school. Unfortunately, we can only invite green and yellow schools to our award ceremony, but this is it. This year's award ceremony dates are already final. We have booked the venue. It's in February 21 to 22. If there are any green schools from Andhra Pradesh, award-winning schools, we will invite you to Delhi for this award ceremony and we will give you awards on the stage for your good sustainable practices. So this GSP award is a celebration of green schools, where schools from across the country come to us. Students are also invited, so you can get students with you. And we have celebration, we have activities, we have good food, and it's like a perfect celebration after GSP audit is submitted. This was the award ceremony in which AP was AP got 3 awards last time. So see, if you see our Green Schools website, I will show you some pictures. Look at this. So this was from Audit 2019. We can see Neelkant sir here and the then director of APNGC receiving award from the director of our institution, Sunita Narayan ma'am. She is providing the awards. And in the air section, you can see ZPHS Gopal Krishnapuram has won an award. So this is what happens when you have great schools and you do the audit mindfully, you provide good data, and you get rated green, right? So this was my presentation. If you have any questions regarding GSP audit, please tell me now. You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. I am sharing my email ID and the phone number in the chat box. Meanwhile, you can tell me if you have any questions. We can wait for 2 minutes. It's a lot of information, I understand.
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్ అందరికీ. ఇది తుషిత గారి యొక్క ప్రజెంటేషన్. సో కంప్లీట్గా జిఎస్పి ఆడిట్ ఎలా చేసుకోవాలి, ఎన్ని టీమ్స్ ఉంటాయి అని చాలా చక్కగా చెప్పారు. ఇప్పుడు ఏమైనా మన డౌట్స్ ఉంటే కనుక ఒక్కసారి మీరు అడగండి. డౌట్స్ తప్పకుండా ఉంటాయి, ఎందుకంటే మనం దీనిపైన ట్రైనింగ్స్ ఇవ్వబోతున్నాము. అది ఫిజికల్ మోడ్లో ఇస్తామా లేదంటే ఆన్లైన్లో ఇస్తామా అనేది డైరెక్టర్ మేడం గారు చేస్తారు, ఎందుకంటే ఈ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్ ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి. Then the last date is January 14th, I think.
Yes, and we will extend it by 4-5 days so that you have some more time to do it.
Okay.
No questions at all. All of you understood the audit activity?
Some questions are there.
Yeah. This is not about audit, but this ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Rajshekhar sir.
Right. So, sir, I will take questions one by one. So, Ravindra sir's question: if NGC teachers are transferred and you don't have anything, no email ID, no password, write a mail to us. I have put in my email ID, support@greenschoolsprogram.org. Send us a mail, give us the name of your school and ask us if you're registered or not. If you are registered, we will give you the username and password. We store all the usernames for our record. So we will provide you the data. If you don't know anything, no username, no password, please write a mail to us. Now, next question is from Rajashekhar sir. That is it being used to influence and make any policy changes at ground level to improve the school? Yes, sir. So we do that. At very good question, sir. What we do is we have this amazing case study of practices of schools across the country, right? So we do try to influence other schools to follow the lead. For example, in after audit of 2019, we came up with a book which is called Paving the Path, in which we had great case studies from all our network schools. So the best practices that we came across in the audit, we compiled all of those. We released a book and we sent it to our network schools so that they can also take inspiration from those practices. Our point here is, while everything goes on a higher level, we try that the community of schools should learn from each other. There is a copy of this publication, sir, but unfortunately now it's a paid publication. It's on CSE Store. CSE Store is an online portal where all our publications are saved. You can check out a copy from there. It's called Paving the Path. CSE Store. I will also send.
Sorry, Rajshekhar Bandi is from ISHER, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Tirupati.
Okay.
Citizen scientist also and
Oh, great.
ornithologist also. Thank you very much, sir, for participating. I will provide one copy, sir. I have one copy.
Okay, great.
I will.
Yeah, so Neelkant sir knows about it, sir. And otherwise also you can check our CSE Store link. It has all the publications that our organization comes up with.
Okay.
Not just environment education, but everything. Waste management, energy, everything. All right. Any more questions that I can answer? Even if it's a small doubt, please ask me right now. I can answer it. Only trees are there, no solar panel, no pollution checking
Hello,
machine.
ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, sir.
I'm Surendra Babu from
Yes, sir.
Kanipagam High School.
Yes,
Ma'am,
good to talk to you.
is there any audit from energy area?
Yes, sir. So the audit, GSP audit has 6 sections, and one section is on energy. So it's
Okay,
part of
okay.
the audit.
Is it present or
Right?
not? That is my doubt.
Yes, it is present. Your school
Okay.
has been doing the audit for so many years, sir. So this time also, it's
Yeah.
we have come back with 6 sections.
Okay.
Srinivasan, sir, it does not matter if your school does not have a pollution checking machine or solar panel. You can still become a green school. In fact, 60% of schools in our network are government schools, and they get rated green because their practices are so sustainable. They're not using any vehicles, they're not using unclean fuels, they're managing their waste properly, they do not have packaging waste, they're not using plastic, and that they have a lot of biodiversity. So that's how you can become a green school. It's not important to have fancy machines, solar panels. If your practices are sustainable, even if you're a small school, you can still become a green school. So don't worry about that, sir. Just report the data as it is, and then we will take it from there. Um, Bala Chaitanya, sir, if teachers are transferred, you can write to us, ask for new details. We will extend the date by a week, which is the most we can do, and we'll ensure that you submit the audit within that time. So we will provide certain extension, small, but we will. I will share the PPT with Neelkant sir, so that you can get it. Any more questions? Anything that you need help with? Please do note my email ID and contact number. It is in the chat box. You can call us. We work out of office from Monday to Friday, and I or my colleague Neeraj will pick your call personally and help you. You can also email us. We only check the emails, so your doubt will be resolved.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
I am Harishankar from Tirupati.
Yes.
I am also a participant in GSP 2019-20. I
Okay.
mean, before Corona.
Okay. That's great,
My
sir.
school is-
What was your rating?
My school is comes under yellow. I mean, orange.
Oh, okay. 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 Great.
Orange.
Yellow is a
But
good rating.
I cannot go further step forward because in the field level we have a very small tiny villages, government schools. Your GSP audit in different areas are very large. I mean, for the beginners, we are not in a position to compete with the advanced schools.
Okay.
Advanced schools means which schools have greeneries naturally. Naturally, some villages are in the greenery, no problem. Not only green audit, air audit, energy audit.
Yeah.
Is there any categorization of the schools? Because we may have some satisfaction to our green school teachers, green
Right.
teachers.
So, sir, I think the beauty of GSP audit is that you are not competing with rich private schools. There is no competition, because what we do is, I will tell you, there are some private schools in our network that use 50 ACs and they have school buses. They are not green. But we have some government schools that are very small. They're running out of 3 classrooms. They are green. So we don't have a standard set of rating, right? We give points for each good practice. So even if you don't have solar panel, even if you only have some trees, even if you don't have big ACs and buses and anything, you can still become green, because this audit is about practices, right? There is one school which segregates wet and dry waste. Now they don't have dustbins. So what they do is, they have one dustbin for wet waste in the entire floor, and for dry waste they use cartons. Those gatta jo hota hai jise kehte hain,
Yes.
those cartons they use for dry waste. Now this is a great practice. They are reusing stuff, So it's about practices like this. So don't worry at all, sir, that there are some rich schools that you have to compete with. If you have sustainable practices, you will become a green school. And I think this time you must do the audit and see if you move to green school rating, because yellow
Yes,
is
madam.
good. You can move to green. So all the
What is
best.
my submission is
Your
there is n number of schools, the 1700 schools or something schools.
yeah.
You are satisfying only green and yellow schools.
No, so every
What
school
about
is
other
rated.
colors means what is my, what can I say? What's my suggestion is, you categorize it. You have two categories: urban or very remote or very urban or something. I can't say the parameter, but to satisfy the teachers, sending certificates, sending your feedbacks, all are very good. We are very interested.
Yeah.
But the number of teachers participating, the number of teaching get awards. The ratio is very low. Is there any provision to have our state level or region level, South Indian or North Indian or region
Sir,
wise?
see, it's a national level audit, so I don't think we can do state wise. What we do is state from where we get highest registrations is awarded. I am sure there will be some state level competitions there as well. Neelkant sir would be a better person for that. But in the audit, we do ask you whether you're a rural school or urban school. So all that is taken into account. That's also one of the questions, sir. So you try submitting the audit this time, and then
Yes, madam.
we will
Then I will
see. But your point taken, sir. Thank you for that suggestion. Is there anything else, or are we done? Okay, then I think Neelkant sir, you can take over. I am done. If you have any more questions, you can email it to me and I will answer, or you can call me on the office number. I'm done, Neelkant sir. Thank you so much for listening, all of you.
యా థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ మా థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి సార్. రాజశేఖర్ సార్.
సార్ నీలకంఠ గారు, యా గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
1 minute మీరు మాట్లాడండి సార్, అడ్రస్ చేయండి కొంచెం.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I mean, it's nice to be a part of this, and thanks to Shisha. I work at ISA Tirupati, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, and I think some of the teachers here knows me. So we have a citizen science program, out of which we try to empower the schools in collecting biodiversity data around the school. So it's basically falls within the land usage and landscape ecology of the schools. And we are looking forward to train some of the teachers in the landscape in Andhra Pradesh to use some of the emerging technologies in recording the biodiversity around schools to generate the school biodiversity registers. So we tried it last year a bit with some of the schools, and there are a lot of learnings, and hopefully now Mr. Neelakantha is the state coordinator. I'm looking forward to work along with him, and probably any interested schools and school teachers. We are planning to do some training sessions in the coming months on recording biodiversity data from the schools to create the school biodiversity registers using very simple technologies, so that this data can be used in the audit in a better way. So on this front, Tushita, I'm just wondering whether do you have any standard policies or recommendations in collecting biodiversity data from the schools? Like, do you recommend any particular tools or technologies, or is just up to the schools to choose the technologies for the biodiversity data collection?
Yes, sir, because as I said, we have a range of schools from rural to urban. We do not have any specific set which requires equipment or a certain methodology, but this is up to the schools. All we ask for is number of species. So, but what you are explaining sounds extremely fascinating, and we can probably get in touch to understand more. Maybe this is something we can also incorporate in the audit. So I'd love to hear from you, sir.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. And I just shared a link in the chat box, like the project, a small project for a short duration we started, and some of the government schools involved in this, and I think we ended up recording some 2,500 species from multiple schools. So we want to take it to a large scale. So it's like a win-win situation. So the biodiversity data from the schools can be shared with the research community, and at the same time, the schools can have the school biodiversity registers. And over a period of time, if we can do this for 3, 5, 10 years, then we will have a lot of data from each school in terms of biodiversity. And then we can see how the landscape change is impacting the species diversity as well in the schools.
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
So I think in the next 3 months, I think we are, with Neelakanti sir, we are going to plan some, training sessions for the teachers. But I request you to, think and probably make some recommendations at the, at the APNGC director level to give some more allowance or time allowance for the school teachers, weekly 1 hour. I know that the teachers are going through a lot of pressure from the teaching side and a lot of responsibilities as well. But if you people can influence the director of APNGC at the state level to allocate some kind of time for the teachers, I think people like us who want to work with the teaching community and the student community can help them in gathering more data so that more quality data can come back to the Green School audit.
Right. No, point taken, sir. Point taken. I will discuss it with the team, and I hope to get in touch with you. I can take your contact from Neelkant, sir. So
Yeah,
thank you for attending the session.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sir, ఇంకా ఎవరైనా మాట్లాడతారా మన వాళ్ళు? ఎనీబడి? గౌస్ భయ్యా మాట్లాడతారా? Mohammed Ghaus sir from AB Biodiversity Teachers Forum President.
హలో
భయ్యా మాట్లాడండి.
అన్న నమస్తే అన్న. నేను ఇంకా ఫాలో అవుతున్నాను, బట్ నేను రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వగలిగే పరిస్థితి లేదు. నేను ప్రోగ్రామ్ అంతా ఫాలో అయ్యాన్న, ఇబ్బంది ఏం లేదు. నేను తర్వాత మాట్లాడతాను వేరే
ఓకే మా గివ్ మీ ఒక 10 minutes టైం ఫర్ వర్స్ మా. I will take 5 minutes for our discussion, no? How to plan the day programs.
Sure, sir.
All district coordinators ki namaste sir. సో ఇది యాక్చువల్గా నేషనల్ లెవెల్లో చాలా గొప్ప ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇది. మనం స్టేట్లో ఎన్ని చేసినా కానీ నేషనల్ లెవెల్లో మనకి ఒక మంచి పేరు వచ్చే ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇది. సో మీరు అందరూ మనం ప్లాన్ చేసుకుంటే మీరు నాకు గ్రూప్స్లో మెసేజ్ పెడితే డైరెక్ట్ మేడం కూడా అందులో ఉన్నారు. సో ఎలా దీన్ని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్ళొచ్చు అంటే మనకి ఇంకొక ప్రోగ్రామ్ కూడా వస్తుంది, లైఫ్ స్టైల్ ఫర్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ అని మన మోడీ గారు, అదే మన ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు లాంచ్ చేశారు. ఆ ప్రోగ్రాంలో భాగంగా నేనేమనుకున్నా అంటే దీన్ని గ్రీన్ స్కూల్ ఆడిట్ అనే ఉద్దేశంతో, అంటే గ్రీన్ ఆడిట్ అనే స్కూల్ గ్రీన్ ఆడిట్ అనే ఉద్దేశంతో, అంటే ఈ వెళ్ళదే అలాగ ట్రైనింగ్స్ లాగా ఇప్పిద్దామని ఒక ఆలోచనలో ఉన్నాము. ఏదైనా మాన్యువల్గా కానీ, అంటే ఫిజికల్ మోడ్లో కానీ లేదా ఆన్లైన్ మోడ్లో కానీ. ఈ పీపీటీస్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా మీకు షేర్ చేస్తాను. సో దీన్ని కొంచెం ఓపిక చేసుకుంటే ఒక 6 daysలో కంప్లీట్, అంటే రోజుకి ఒక్కటి చేసినా కూడా 6 daysలో అయిపోతుంది. 1 hour స్పెండ్ చేసినా సరిపోతుంది. మన టార్గెట్ ఏంటంటే 6,500 స్కూల్స్కి మనము రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ పర్సన్, అంటే మన బాధ్యత 6,500 స్కూల్స్ మన దగ్గర ఉన్నాయి. అట్లీస్ట్ 5,000 స్కూల్స్ రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వాలి. రిజిస్ట్రేషన్స్ కూడా మనకి మార్క్స్ ఉన్నాయి దీంట్లో. 5,000 స్కూల్స్ రిజిస్టర్ చేసి మినిమం 2,000 స్కూల్స్ని మనము ఆడిట్ సబ్మిట్ చేస్తే అందులో అట్లీస్ట్ మనకు ఒక 500 నుంచి 700 స్కూల్స్ బెస్ట్ గ్రీన్ స్కూల్స్ ఉంటాయి. అదొక రికార్డ్ లాంటిగా మనది చేయొచ్చు. సో మనకు పోటీగా హిమాచల్ ప్రదేశ్ వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు, ఎవరి ఇయర్ వాళ్ళు మనతో పోటీ పడతారు, కానీ మనమే ముందుకెళ్తున్నాం. సో దయచేసి కోఆర్డినేటర్స్ అందరూ కూడా ఇది సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్, ఇది ఎవరు మీకు దీనిపైన ఒత్తిడి ఏం లేదు, చేయాలి కంపల్సరీ అనేంతలో కాకుండా ఒక సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ తీసుకొని దీనిపైన కొంచెం మీరు వర్క్ చేయండి. మీకు అందరికీ మాడ్యూల్ నేను పంపించాను, హ్యాండ్ బుక్ పంపించాను, అది కొద్దిగా చదవండి. దాని పీపీటీ కూడా అంటే సార్ పీడిఎఫ్ కాపీ కూడా ఒకటి పెట్టున్నాను, అది పెడతాను. ఇది కాకుండా మేము ఎక్కడ సక్సెస్ అయ్యామంటే నేను ఒక 6 పేజీలు తెలుగులో మెటీరియల్ తయారు చేశాను. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క కాన్సెప్ట్కి ఒక 1 పేజ్, అంటే సింపుల్గా అయిపోయేలాగా ఆ టాస్క్కి ఏం పెట్టాలి టీచర్, అట్లా అంటే రెడీ రెకనర్ లాగా చేశాను. అది మీకు షేర్ చేస్తాను. అది ఉంటే తొందరగా అయిపోతుంది. దేంట్లో 0 పెట్టాలి, దేనికి ఇవ్వాలి అన్నట్టుగా. సో అది చేసి మనం కొద్దిగా దీన్ని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్ళాలని, అంటే మన టీంని బిల్డ్ చేసినప్పుడు మేడం గారు చెప్పింది ఏమంటే, మీరు చేసే ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ సీఎం గారికి నచ్చాలండి, సీఎం గారే మన ప్రోగ్రామ్కి రావాలన్నట్టుగా అవి హామీ తీసుకున్నారు. నాకు కూడా అలాంటి మంచి టీమే, మనం అందరూ చాలా యంగ్స్టర్స్, ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ పైన ఎఫెక్షన్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళం ఉన్నాం కాబట్టి దయచేసి మీరందరూ సహకరిస్తారని. ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే, దీనికి వాళ్ళు ఏం డబ్బులు ఇవ్వరు ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ జరగడానికి. మామూలుగా మనం కూడా డబ్బులు అడిగేది ఇప్పుడు మర్చిపోయాం. అన్ని ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ మనం ఈవెన్ టీఏడీఏలు ఇవన్నీ కూడా మర్చిపోయాము చాలా వరకు. బట్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి మీరందరూ సహకరిస్తారని ఆశిస్తున్నాను. చాలామంది ఇంకా వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోండి, మీ స్కూల్స్ ఏవో ఐడెంటిఫై చేసుకోండి. తర్వాత రాజశేఖర్ సారు చాలా వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారు బోర్డ్స్ వాటిపైన. తొందరలో వాళ్ళది మీకు నాట్ జియో తెలిసి ఉంటుంది, నేషనల్ జాగ్రఫిక్ ఛానల్తో సార్కి లింక్ ఉంది. వాళ్ళ ద్వారా మనకి డైరెక్ట్గా మనకి కొన్ని చోట్ల అట్లీస్ట్ రీజనల్ లెవెల్లో ఎన్జీసీ అండ్ సార్ వాళ్ళు కలిసి కూడా మనం ట్రైనింగ్స్ ఇవ్వచ్చు, కెపాసిటీ బిల్డింగ్ ట్రైనింగ్స్ లాంటిది. సో అప్పుడు కూడా సార్ హెల్ప్ మనం తీసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇది నా తరపు నుంచి సార్. ఇంకా మీరు ఏమైనా దీన్ని ఎలా చేయొచ్చు అని చెప్తే మనం ఇంకొక 5 minutesలో క్లోజ్ చేసేస్తాం, ఎందుకంటే జూమ్ వాళ్ళది ఇది.
సార్
సార్ చెప్పండి సార్.
నీలకంఠం గారు. ఏం లేదు సార్, మేము కొత్తగా డీసీలు అయ్యాం,
ఓకే సార్.
తెలుసు కదా మీకు. అయితే మాకు కొద్దిగా గైడెన్స్ కొద్దిగా అవసరం ఉంటుంది. మా విశాఖపట్నం జిల్లాకు వచ్చేటప్పటికి చిన్న జిల్లా అయిపోయింది సార్. స్కూల్స్ పరంగా గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో 131 స్కూల్సే మాకు గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉన్నాయి. కానీ దాని మీద మేము మా సాయి శక్తిలో కృషి చేస్తాం సార్, మీ గైడెన్స్ తోటి. హలో
సార్, నీలకంఠ సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
తప్పకుండా సార్.
సార్ నీలకంఠ సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్. సార్ 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 ఏంటంటే అదే త్రూ ప్రాపర్ ఛానల్ ఇది డిఓ మ్యామ్ అంటే అదే మెసేజెస్ కానీ హెచ్ఎంస్ కి వెళ్ళినట్లయితే మాక్సిమం నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్కూల్స్ అనేది జాయిన్ కావడానికి అవకాశం, రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది సార్. మనం అలాగా మనం విన్న వాళ్ళంతా కూడా తప్పకుండా రిజిస్టర్ అవుతాం. సో నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్కూల్స్ ని మనం డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ లెవెల్లో చేయించాలి అంటే, రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేయించాలంటే ప్రాపర్ ఛానల్ అనేది ఇంపార్టెంట్. కొద్ది చూడండి,
దీనిపైన మనమే కోఆర్డినేటర్స్ గా మనం ఒక ట్రైనింగ్ ఇచ్చి, అంటే మనకు
ఇద్దాం. అంటే ముందు వాళ్ళ ద్వారా మెసేజ్ వెళ్ళింది అనుకోండి, వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత మనం ట్రైనింగ్ ఇచ్చేద్దాం డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ లెవెల్. అలా ఇచ్చేసిన డైరెక్టర్ సార్ తో డిఓస్ పంపించేస్తే చాలు సార్. వాళ్ళు మళ్ళీ హెచ్ఎంస్ కి అగైన్ పంపించారు.
మండేకి వాళ్ళకి ఆర్డర్ చేయాలి, ఆర్డర్ రెడీ చేస్తున్నారు. మండేకి వాళ్ళకి ఆర్డర్ చేస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే మన వాళ్ళు 17th వరకు బిజీ ఉన్నారు కదా, అందరూ అప్లై చేసుకోవాలి ఉన్నారు. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్
మనం ఆన్లైన్ ఇవ్వచ్చు సార్ అందరికి కూడా.
ఆన్లైన్ ఇచ్చినా సరిపోతుంది. ఫిజికల్ అంటే కూడా ఒక హాఫ్ డే ఇవ్వచ్చు, కానీ రిస్క్ ఎందుకు అనుకుంటే మనం ఆన్లైన్ ఇచ్చేయచ్చు.
ఆన్లైన్ అయితే నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ పెరుగుతారు సార్, హెచ్ఎంస్ టీచర్స్ అందరూ కూడా ఇన్వాల్వ్. చూద్దాం సార్ ఎలా అయితే బాగుంటుంది. సరే సార్, అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మన డిస్కషన్ అయినాక చెప్పేస్తాం.
సార్ నమస్తే సార్, నీలకంఠ గారు. సార్ మరి అదే మేడం గారు చెప్పినట్టుగా ముందు అఫీషియల్ ప్రొసీడింగ్స్ వస్తే మనం చేసేదానికి ఫుల్ సపోర్ట్ వస్తుంది, ఎక్కువ నెంబర్ రిజిస్టర్ చేయొచ్చు సార్. అది కొంచెం ముందుకు నా వైపుగా ఇనిషియేటివ్ తీసుకోండి సార్, ఎందుకంటే అది ఈజీ అవుతుంది మనకి, చేయొచ్చు. మనం మామూలుగా చెప్పినా చేస్తారు కానీ కొంతవరకే సక్సెస్ అవుతాం. అఫీషియల్ గా ప్రొసీడింగ్స్ వస్తే 99% మనం చేయొచ్చు సార్. ఆ వైపుగా కొంచెం ప్రయత్నం చేయండి సార్. ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ
అన్న. గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ అన్న. నీళ్ళు అన్న వేణు. నేను నిన్న డిఓని కలిసానన్నా నేను. సో ఫ్రీక్వెంట్ గా మీరు హెచ్ఎంస్ తో మీట్ అవుతున్నారు కదా సార్, ఈ పాయింట్ కూడా యాడ్ చేస్తే కొద్దిగా రెస్పాన్స్ ఉంటుంది, మాకంటే మీ ద్వారా వెళ్తే గుడ్ రెస్పాన్స్ ఉంటుందని నేను సజెస్ట్ చేశాను. సో ఆయన సరే తప్పకుండాను కన్సర్న్డ్ క్లర్క్ చెప్పుంచు, నెక్స్ట్ మీటింగ్ లో అది పాయింట్ పెట్టమని అని చెప్పారు. సో యా ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ, లెటర్ వచ్చింది అనుకో ఇంకా వాళ్ళు అది అఫీషియల్ అయిపోతుంది కదా. ఓకేనా, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్
సార్. జకీర్ సార్ ఈ రోజే వచ్చారు, మీరు ఒక్కసారి మీరు పరిచయం చేసుకోండి సార్. Zakir sir and Rangamma madam. అలాగే శ్రీనివాసులు రెడ్డి సార్ మొన్న వచ్చారు. జకీర్ సార్ మాట్లాడారు.
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ everybody.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
This is Mohammad Zakir, district coordinator of PC Krishna district. And it was a very fruitful session. Came to think about NGC and National School Audit Program. And it was a very interesting as well as an educative session. I hope I'll be able to do most things that are prescribed. And
Okay.
thank you to ma'am, thank you Nilakanta sir.
రైట్ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. మీకు కొంచెం సిగ్నల్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. అలాగే మన రాజు, సజీవ్ రాజు సార్, మన రంగమ్మ మేడం మాట్లాడండి.
నమస్తే సార్.
నమస్తే.
గ్లాడ్ టు మీట్ యూ సార్. అదే ఇంకా స్టార్టింగ్ అంటే ఇంకా కొంచెం దీని పట్ల అవగాహన అంటే ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ కుమార్ సార్ చెప్తూ ఉన్నప్పుడు చేసేదాన్ని సార్, ఈ హరిత దీపావళి గురించి అవి సార్ కూడా చెప్తానన్నారు. తర్వాత మీరు ఉన్నారనే ధైర్యంతోనే ఇంకా ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ వేయడం సార్.
తప్పకుండా మేడం చేస్తారు, మీరు అన్ని చేయగలుగుతారు.
చేయగలుగుతాం కానీ పుషప్ కొంచెం ఇది మన వర్క్స్ కూడా ఇవి కూడా ఎక్కువ అయ్యాయి కదా సార్ ఇప్పుడు ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇన్నోవేటివ్ గా ఎస్ఐపి అని. కాబట్టి కొంచెం ధైర్యం చాలే ఫస్ట్. ఇంకా సారు నీలకంఠ సార్ ఉన్నారు, ఏం పర్లేదమ్మా స్టెప్ తీసుకోండి అని ఒక అడిగి చేశాను సార్. మరి
ఫిజికల్ మోడ్ లో అందరూ ఒకసారి స్టేట్ అంతా కలవాలని కూడా అనుకున్నాం కానీ కుదరలేదు మేడం. ఈ వర్షాలు పడ్డాయి, తుఫాన్లు అవి
వర్షాలు పడ్డాయి, వెంటనే ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్ కూడా గందరగోళం ఉంది సార్. ఇప్పటి వరకు కూడా మీరు మధ్యలో నేను సార్ పిలుస్తున్నాను ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్ రేషనలైజేషన్ పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయని అప్లై చేయడానికి వెళ్ళా, మళ్ళీ రిటర్న్ అయ్యా. అట్లా అది ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్ అయిపోతే కొంచెం ఫ్రీ అవుతాం సార్ అందరం మనం. అదొకటి చూడండి సార్.
సజీవ్ రాజ్ సార్. రాజు సార్ రైట్. రైట్, ఇంకా క్లోజ్ చేద్దాం ఈ సెషన్. ఆయనకి థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్పి సజీవ్ రాజ్ సార్ మాట్లాడగలుగుతారా? సత్యప్రకాష్ సార్ మాట్లాడండి. ఎవరెవరు?
నమస్తే సార్, ప్రకాష్ ఫ్రం విజయనగరం. సార్ చాలా చక్కగా జిఎస్పి రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ప్లస్ లాగిన్ అయ్యాక ఏ విధంగా అన్ని అంశాల్లో ఏ విధంగా చక్కగా చేయాలో మేడం గారు చక్కగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు. ఆల్రెడీ మీరు పంపిన పీపీటీ కూడా నేను చూశాను, చాలా చక్కగా ఉన్నారు సార్. తప్పకుండా మేము రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ మా పరిధిలో క్లస్టర్కి అప్పచెప్పినటువంటి స్కూల్స్లో నేను తప్పకుండా జిఎస్పి రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేయిస్తాను సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్ ఫర్ గివింగ్ ఆపర్చునిటీ టు పార్టిసిపేట్ ఇన్ గ్రేట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్ వన్స్ అగైన్. ఓకే సార్.
రాజశేఖర్ సార్ థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్ ఫర్ పార్టిసిపేషన్. నెక్స్ట్ మళ్ళీ కలుద్దాం సార్. రైట్, Tushita, you can join, ma. You can close the session.
Sorry, sir?
Yeah, you can. Our discussion is over.
Okay, it's done. All right. So, in the end, I would just like to say that as teachers, as somebody working with schools, you have a lot to do, I understand. But if you think this audit can add value to how your school is consuming resources and how you can battle climate change, then please do submit the audit, get your report and see where you stand and how you can improve. So I request all of you to take some time out for this activity, and thank you for your participation today. Thank you, Nilkanth sir, for organizing this session. I think it was helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Uma ma'am, please give a vote of thanks. Uma Maheshwari.
Hi ma'am, I am Uma Maheshwari from Srikakulam district. On behalf of the entire team, I would like to thank you Tushita ma'am, Team GSP, giving us such a wonderful subject about GSP in all aspects, ma'am, like air, water, energy, food, and land, water. So, how to get registration and login credentials and submission of the GSP audit. Such a wonderful explanation, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thanks to all participants to this program. In this program, I extend my thanks to Rajshekhar sir and Neelkanta sir. Such a giving a good opportunity to participate in this program, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. All right. So, are we done then, sir?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Record.